But yeah, people will ask about intimate things with the hand, stuff like that.
When you first lost your arm, what was going through your mind?
Did opt to get a wrist rotator. This is like kind of an add-on. It's not necessarily, they don't all have this, and currently this one's actually made by a different company. So because it can actually lift up to 78 pounds, which is more than I would usually lift with one hand anyway.
The Drazzy Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Drazzy Show. Today I have a gentleman by the name of Ryan Goodwin. And Ryan Goodwin is a special individual because, am I correct if I call it a cybotic arm?
You can call it a bionic arm, yes.
Bionic arm. Okay, my apologies. So,
not a problem.
What's it like having a bionic arm?
Yeah, that's a good question. It definitely restores a lot of confidence in doing day-to-day stuff, as far as, doing things like folding laundry, washing dishes, stuff like that. It's very great to have just in order to get back to a lot of day-to-day stuff. Of course, it is a little bit different out in public with a bionic arm. It does attract a lot of attention in some circumstances, especially looking the way it does with the carbon fiber, as you can see. But overall, having a bionic hand has been a very empowering experience for me, getting back to a lot of the things I always did beforehand.
So is it waterproof? Because you mentioned earlier about washing dishes. Is that waterproof?
Yes, the hand itself is waterproof, yes.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Now, was it your idea to get that, or was it suggested by a doctor?
So, actually, when I was in the hospital, I was going through different options. There's options like hand transplants are an option, prosthetics like you see here are an option. And I was able to talk to a lot of clinicians and professionals, and their opinion was that the bionic technology that's found in this hand would actually outpace anything that you might find in like a hand transplant in the coming years. And there's a lot of downsides of hand transplants as well. I do know it's definitely the best option for certain people. But in situations like that, you're going to have to be on medication your entire life. And from what I've learned recently, it can actually shorten your life expectancy as much as 10 years. So with the advances in bionics and the level of control we're able to get today, and even in the near future, I just found that this would be the best route for me.
I see. Now, is that connected to your I don't know, your, how do you say
Yeah.
it? What's the scientific term? Your electrons and your new,
Yeah,
what is it?
yeah. So the way this hand works is actually based on muscle motion. So if you open and close your hand, you'll see those different muscle groups moving around.
Yeah.
I'm still able to flex the same muscles that are within my socket here on my forearm. And there's 6 different sensors. They're considered EMG sensors, similar sensors to what you might find in a pacemaker for your heart. In my circumstance, they're just on the surface of my skin, so they're completely non-invasive. I can take this off whenever I want, and they just sit on the surface of my skin. And when I flex those muscles, I'm able to get control of the hand.
What's this like for you? You go out on a date or something? Is that one of the first things that comes up, or is it? Pardon my French, but is it a magnet?
Some girls definitely like it. Some girls not so much. I've gotten mixed reactions. Overall, I would say it's not a negative thing in that aspect. It does come up, obviously, in certain circumstances, but I've never had that be like a complete turn off. I'll say that. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic and something that comes up fairly soon in that regard. I'm lucky enough to actually work with this company as an ambassador, so I do a lot of events, do a lot of traveling with this company. So it ends up being kind of like a positive thing that I get to do some of my free time with this company. So it ends up being a pretty fun time.
That's good. That's good. I saw on your social media that you were at Comic-Con.
I was, yes.
Yeah. What was that like? What were you there for?
So we were there actually to give a panel talk about bionic hands in the real world, and we were there with 5 different users of the ability hand. So we all kind of shared our experience, what these hands have been able to get us back into doing, things of that nature. So we were giving a talk there, and luckily we had enough time to go and see a lot of the rest of the show as well. This company is actually from San Diego, so a lot of the team members were able to join us. And it was a really fun time when we were at Comic-Con.
That sounds good. What's the name of the company for those that don't know?
Yeah, so this company is called Bionic. This is their logo here. and this is their ability hand.
I see, I see, I see. So what was it like? You being an ambassador, was it giving it to you for free or did you have to pay for it? Are you on a payment plan? How does it work?
Yeah, so this hand is actually FDA approved medical device, so it's out of testing. It's no longer a prototype or anything like that. So it is a FDA approved product, and as such, it is actually covered by Medicare and other insurances in the United States.
I see.
So I was working with my prosthetist here in New York in order to basically prove to insurance that I needed the hand. That's kind of how it works. So I did a couple of different sessions of occupational therapy, etc. Some of which involved my old prosthetic body powered, and then I was able to follow up with the new prosthetic and show an improvement in motor functions, etc. So that's kind of how that process worked.
I see, I see. And like in regards to like, let's say traveling, do you need a special kind of passport? Do you get stopped? Do they want you to take it off? Like how does it work?
Yeah, it's actually fairly simple. I go through security like everyone else, and then after the metal detector, they do have a secondary swab. They'll kind of go over the arm and do whatever tests they need to do, and they kind of put it in a scanner and just make sure there's no materials that they don't want to see on a plane. I assume I'm not exactly sure what it tests for, but things of that nature. So it's fairly easy. It just takes me an extra minute at the end of after the metal detector to get through the rest of security, and then I'm free to go.
Man, you know, I know human beings can be quite cruel sometimes, and I know obviously what you've got there is something that's out of the norm. Do you ever get people asking silly questions? And what kind of what's the silliest question you've heard anyone ask you with that arm?
Yeah, definitely a lot of funny questions, especially in regards to the wrist rotator. Some people want to know, inappropriate things about that. I just kind of think it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, people will ask about intimate things with the hand, stuff like that, and people kind of make jokes about it. It's obviously not what the hand is used for,
Yeah,
but it's just some of the stuff that I'll hear as far as funny wise.
yeah, you've got to be a pretty strong character to be able to navigate through the world like that, So
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you, man. Definitely. I know it's not easy. Do you know what I mean? During our correspondence on social media, when I first asked you if I could interview, I know you said you didn't want me to ask you how it happened, but how long after it happened did you come across this? Did the company approach you? Did you go online and find them? Like, what made you just like? How long after did you decide? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was in the hospital, I was met with my prosthetist. My family had reached out to them, and they were nice enough to actually visit me while I was still in the hospital, and they were showing me different options. Pretty much right away, they were showing me different options for hands, etc. And during that time, this company was actually just coming out to market. They just got approval, so they were brand new at the time. So at first, I wasn't really aware of them. So I was looking at a lot of the different hands that were available. A lot of them would either not be waterproof or be very slow or heavy or fragile. So after that, I was fitted with actually a body power prosthetic, which is basically like a backpack strap around my opposite shoulder on this side, and then kind of like a spring and a hook mechanism instead of having this hand here. So I had that for a while, and I continued to do my research. I had that for about 10 months, and during that whole time, I was trying to get my insurance to cover a myoelectric prosthetic like this. So during that 10 months, I had a lot of time to do research, and I started seeing this company pop up on social media, doing a lot of cool things with the hand. I saw its ability to be waterproof. It's the fastest hand to open and close, very strong and robust. So I saw a lot of the tests they were doing online, and I was like, wow, that really looks like the next generation of these hands. And I actually reached out to the company. I sent them an email, and I was able to get a Zoom meeting with the founder, who eventually agreed to send me a loaner hand. So I actually had a demo hand for about 2 months, and during that whole time, my insurance actually finally approved me getting my own version of the hand. So I was able to, after the demo ended, actually get my own hand.
Oh wow, that's quite interesting. It's good. I'm glad that obviously you reached out to them.
Yeah.
It says NASA on it. What's not? Is that your own sticker, or is it to do with NASA?
Yeah, so this is a sticker I applied. I call it my tattoo. We actually visited NASA back in May, and their robot Valkyrie is actually using the same hand as me. So this hand is not only available in prosthetic applications, but it's also available in robotic applications.
I see.
which is actually very beneficial for me, even as an amputee, because the more of these hands they can sell for robotics applications, it actually helps to subsidize the cost for prosthetic use and continue to bring that price point
Of
down
course.
lower and lower, and hopefully be able to be more affordable for more and more people as time goes on.
I see. I see. Now, as an ambassador, did they ever show you some of the prototypes that they're working on? Because I know in the future, arms are going to be a lot more similar to the skin. I know they're going to work on that technology.
Yeah, so I definitely I know some of the stuff they're working on. I don't know how much I'm really allowed to share. But one thing I will say is, even me as a user of this, I don't necessarily look for it to actually look more natural. I really don't mind the way it looks. I'm very comfortable with what it is. Obviously, it does look very different, but even in this state, sometimes if I'm wearing long sleeves, people will just think it's a glove.
All right. Okay.
But even people who are able to pick it up right away, I don't mind because there are a lot of other companies that do try to make them look as much or as close to a hand as possible, even mimicking your opposite hands to get an exact match. And the problem is the materials used to get that kind of a look can be very fragile. They can be very susceptible to ripping, causing issues with waterproofing, and just overall a lot less maneuverability. So I prefer actually the function of this hand rather than it necessarily looking more real.
I see. So, where did you say the company was based again? San Diego, you said, isn't it?
That's correct.
So, do you have to travel there for maintenance? How does it work? Do you maintain it yourself, or do you have to go there?
Yeah, so there's no scheduled maintenance on the hand, believe it or not. Sometimes what will happen is maybe sometimes the silicone on the fingers can rip or something like that. And these hands are very modular. Each piece is easily able to be replaced. So in cases like the fingers, I've actually replaced them myself. So they can send me a finger, or if there's anything else that happens with the hand, I can easily send it over to them. And for me being in the United States, that's one advantage of this company being in San Diego is there's very quick turnarounds. If anything beyond that happens, they can quickly send me a loaner. It's 1 day air shipping. So a lot of other companies, or this is the only company that's currently available in the United States, as far as I'm aware. So it means quick turnarounds for me, and yeah, anything of that sort is very easily handled.
I see. Now, what kind of stuff can the hand do? Like, like, can you grip things a lot stronger than the human hand? Is it stronger? Is it the same kind of strength? Like, what makes it very unique, other than the fact that it gives you the ability to do the normal day-to-day tasks?
Yeah, so this is currently it's the fastest hand for open and close times. So if I get an example here, like this cup, the speed actually benefits me because I'm able to quickly reach and grab it without having to really think about what I'm doing too much. If you have a slower prosthetic hand, you might have to reach out and then wait for the hand to close around it
I
before you're
see.
able to actually grab the cup in this case. So the speed helps you kind of make the process actually a lot more natural, just quickly reaching and grabbing things. The strength of the hand is comparable strength to a human hand. It's not as strong grip strength technically. This is about 18 psi. So it can actually lift up to 78 pounds, which is more than I would usually lift with one hand anyway, right?
Wow.
And with that 78-pound limit, I'm actually able to do things like pull-ups to a certain extent. This socket kind of limits my range of motion a little bit.
Okay.
But other than that, I can actually support my whole body weight using both the hands, just from being able to lift up to 78 pounds.
That's crazy science, because I'm looking at how it's attached to your arm. How can you do pull-ups
Yeah.
without you sliding out of the arm?
Yeah, no, so yeah, it's locked around two of the bones on my elbow here. So if I'm able to grab and support, like I said, it does restrain my range of motion a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm actually able to pull myself up to a certain level,
Wow.
up until, this range of motion issue kind of steps in the way.
Now, does that ever intimidate people? Because it looks like if you gave someone a punch with that, it'll be nights out. They'll be dreaming. They'll be dreaming within a
Yeah,
dream
I
within
do
a
have
dream.
videos on my social media of me hitting like those punching bag machines, for example, that give you a score, and a lot of times I'll actually max out those machines.
Oh, wow,
So
wow.
it can it can give quite a punch. Luckily, I haven't needed to, but it's nice to know that it's strong enough.
So what do you do? What do you do like on your day to day? Like, what do you do for work? Does that help you with your work?
Yeah, it does. So I'm actually in digital marketing and web design.
Okay.
I have my own company, Blueprints Media.
Okay.
So I help a lot of local businesses around me and actually all over the country establish an online presence. So it does help me day to day with that. I can use the keyboard to a certain extent with this hand, mouse as well, actually. But currently, the limiting factor there is not having individual finger control. Currently, there's no control system available commercially that offers that level of control yet. But this company, Bionic, is actually one of the people working on engineering individual finger control. And what that might look like in the future is actually having a surgery that would wrap each one of those electrodes directly around each nerve in your arm. So I have what's called phantom sensation. So it does feel like I still have a hand in here, and because of that, I can feel like I move each one of those nerves around to a certain extent. So if they were able to capture that level of control with those electrodes, it could potentially lead to individual finger control, which would be, again, a lot more natural of a hand and could benefit me even more and possibly even allow for controls like play piano.
Wow. I think that's where the future's heading. I think
Absolutely.
soon it will be more than just amputees. It will be like people with spinal cord problems, disabilities.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see like technology really just bringing back a lot of people's, ability to live day-to-day lives without disabilities, But I saw on your social media you were able to function two fingers. You did something like this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you have to like?
Yeah, so
Sorry, go on.
there's different grips I can cycle through currently. There's about 30 different ones, as well as custom ones in the app, so I'm able to make whatever gestures I would like to. I typically use a certain amount of grips every day. One of the most useful ones is a key grip. You can imagine holding a plate, for example. I can use a thumb to hold that down. Power grip is going to be the strongest grip for grip strength if I'm holding things, carrying all the bags of groceries in at once, things like that. And then there's a tripod C grip. So those are the most often ones I use. And the tripod C is good for, picking up things.
Yeah.
Like this cup, for example. Well, bad example there, but.
Interesting.
Things kind of like on flat surfaces.
Yeah.
But yes, there is grips such as the peace sign. You can do the rock sign, of course. All the different ones.
Wow. So you said you got an app that allows you to create the different type. Oh wow, there we go. So there's an app that allows you to do all that. You control the app, and it will modify the functionality.
Yeah, absolutely. The app actually offers a really wide variety of customization for the hand, including control systems, how to change grips. The speed of the hand can also be adjusted. You can see that here that the hand is proportionally controlled, meaning depending on how hard I flex my muscles in my arm, actually the hand will react to different speeds. So it can be very fast or very delicate as well. And that's all adjustable through the app as well. So you can kind of fine tune the different thresholds for how fast and slow the hand is.
So what's it like in terms of the power? How long does it last for? And once it's out, do you have some kind of substitute?
So currently this battery lasts about 8 to 9 hours. They can be outfitted with more batteries. Just my socket didn't have space for it. I did opt to get a wrist rotator. This is like kind of an add-on. It's not necessarily, they don't all have this, and currently this one's actually made by a different company. So because of that, I only had space for the 2 batteries, which is the standard amount you get, and that lasts about 8 to 9 hours. Once the hand dies, it will stay in whatever position it's in. So if I'm holding a water bottle or something and the hand happens to die, it will be stuck until I get a charger. But if I know I'm going to be out for an extended period of time, I can just bring my charger with me. It's USB Type-C, so it's actually the same as my phone.
Okay.
Or I can just bring a portable power pack as well.
Now, you said you opted to have it rotate 360, right?
Yeah.
Why did you want that?
So it's a separate component. But yeah, just for if you think about grabbing things at certain angles, if I was busy holding my phone, example, in my left hand, and I need to grab something on my desk, if the hand was in this position, I would have to be awkward and really twist my arm around in order to get to it. With the wrist rotator, it makes it a little bit easier. I can just turn the hand itself and then grab things independently with this hand.
The question I want to ask you now, it might be a bit of a sensitive question, but nevertheless, I would still like to know if you wouldn't mind answering.
Sure.
What was it like for you when you first lost your arm? What was going through your mind?
Yeah. One of my biggest fears is I'm a very active person. I play a lot of sports, spend a lot of time outside. Those are some of my favorite things to do. So I play hockey, I'm into mountain biking, even riding dirt bikes and quads, things like that. And my biggest fear is actually not being able to get back into all those activities that I used to do before, even golf, for example. So yeah, that's definitely what was the biggest struggle for me to get through during that time, was just getting adjusted and getting back into all those things. And luckily, I have a great prosthetist who was aware of that and did their best to make all that stuff happen for me. Even with the body power I had prior to this, I was still getting back into all those things like mountain biking, golf, hockey. And there's videos of all that stuff on my social media as well. So once I was able to get back into all those things one by one, it really started to bring my confidence back up. And just the fact that I was able to do everything I did before was really what made things a lot easier for me.
How patient are you? Like, how do you learn to be a patient person? Because there must be times you just want to just throw a punch at someone for like silly things or overstaring. Like, because we're innocent human beings. Sometimes we don't realize how we offend people. People must stare. How do you control your composure? What makes you understand that about human beings?
Yeah, so I'm definitely very patient with people. I don't mind taking time as long as I have it to explain to people how it works. And that's really because I came from a similar place. Before I had lost my hand, I had no idea what kind of technology was out here for prosthetics. And as I took time to learn about it, like I said, I did have like that 10-month period where that's all I was doing is pretty much researching different prosthetics like this. So because of that, I can understand people's curiosity, seeing it for the first time, especially, in public or wherever it might be on social media. I definitely understand that level of curiosity because I certainly had it myself. So I can be very patient and understanding because of that.
Now,
Yeah.
as an ambassador, what would you say to people who are watching this who might want to, get one of those arms in a similar situation that you are in? What would you say?
I would say definitely reach out to the team. Their website is psionic.io. It might be easier to remember the ability hand too. You can definitely research that. And if people are already working with prosthetists, hopefully the prosthetist is familiar with the company at this point. If not, feel free to show them. Again, it's psionic.io. Definitely reach out to them and their team. Reach out to me on social media as well. I'd be happy to give anybody more information as well.
What's your social media, please?
Mine is Ryan M. Goodwin on both Instagram and TikTok. So that's Ryan M. and then GOODWIN.
Thank you very much.
Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Ryan, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And once more, I take my hat off to you, man. The strength, the confidence, and yeah, man, just keep being who you are, man. You're a lovely guy, man. I'm very grateful that you agreed to speak with me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. It was great meeting you, and thank you for the opportunity.
No problem, Ryan. Ryan, have a lovely day. God bless.
Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye. Guys, thank you very much for watching The Drazzy Show. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Ryan. I certainly enjoyed asking him all those questions, and I enjoyed hearing the answers. I really respect the guy, just to go and navigate through life the way he's doing in, the situation that he's in. It's a beautiful thing. It should give all of you some confidence and give all of you some faith in yourself to know that life goes on, and you've got to just live with the situation at hand and be grateful for the life that you've got. And thank you to the company as well for providing Ryan with that arm. And any of you in a similar situation and you're thinking of getting a bionic arm, make sure you contact those links, and hopefully it will provide the same level of confidence in your life that it has for Ryan. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to The Drazzy Show. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you continue to watch. Peace and love, Drazzy.
The Drazzy Show.